But speaking of more industry news in the state of the manga industry, an interesting trend seems to have taken place in last year, and that is that digital manga volume sales overtook print sales in Japan for the first time in 2017. Physical sales are actually down 14%, while digital sales are up 17%. This is a report done by the Research Institute for Publications. And yeah, I mean, they say that digital sales are at 171.1 billion yen, about US $1.6 billion, while physical sales are only about 166.6 billion yen, or US $1.56 billion. So, I mean, these figures do not include magazine sales, just graphic novel sales, but it's very interesting to see that we've finally hit that point where it seems that digital is overtaking print as the medium of choice for readers.
Yeah, that is interesting. So this obviously means that print's dead, right, Sid?
Not yet. I mean, if you look at the margin, yeah, I mean, digital did overtake print, but it's still even enough. There isn't a big disparity. It's also worth noting that combined print and digital sales are actually down 0.9% compared to the previous year. And the report claims or speculates that piracy might have had an effect on that. And then also the growth rate for digital comics shrunk last year, though they don't specify by how much. But it's just worth noting those little details as well.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, honestly.
And just corroborating that is a different report from the All Japan, a book publishers and editors association, which estimated that physical sales of manga did drop by 12% compared to the same period in 2016. So we have two reports that are saying that, yeah, physical sales are in decline, but digital is going up.
Well, that's good at least.
But on that subject of a drop in overall sales due to piracy, and sure, it was less than 1%, but a drop is a drop.
It still matters, yeah.
And there's been a lot of piracy discussion recently, and a lot of mangaka speaking out about piracy. One manga creator called Gaku Kuze posted a special chapter of his Uramichi Onisan manga recently, where the series' title character educates young children about the problems with illegally distributing manga online. And that manga was retweeted quite a number of times. And basically, this is just interesting as part of the ongoing discussion and manga creators coming out and speaking out about piracy, including the likes of veterans like Tetsuya Chiba, the artist of Ishida no Joe, among other series like Notare no Matsutaro, and Tetsuya Chiba, as the chair of the Japan Cartoonists Association, posted a statement that decried piracy and encouraged fans to avoid piracy. And an article on NHK that he did an interview with, also had some statistics that, pointed out, physical sales are in decline. In general, piracy is having an effect on manga sales overall, and the damage could worsen because in a 2014 report had reported that piracy cost an estimated 50 billion yen's worth of sales. That's $464 million worth in sales in US dollars. So it has an effect. That 1% has an effect.
Yeah, that 1%, it doesn't seem like much, but it is.
Yeah, and there's also statistics saying that the number of people who are using pirate sites has been increasing. And the article that NHK did cited a report by Video Research Interactive that stated they found 230,000 people in Japan were using pirate sites. Among the users, 42% were in their teens, 21% were in their 40s, and 19% were in their 50s. So this isn't just like a young people's epidemic. This is like readers, young and old, are pirating manga, and this is having a bad effect on the industry. And even though there have been many mangaka that are calling on fans to avoid piracy, there is some discussion towards what publishers can do to encourage people not to pirate. Some mangaka are not happy with how the publishers have been handling the piracy situations. And one of those creators is Takashi Yoshida, the mangaka behind the Almost Got Laid committee. And Yoshida believes that manga publishers and piracy sites are stuck in an endless loop of repetitive behavior because the publishers don't have a proactive response. Publishers are always reactive to piracy. They don't try and crush the pirated versions before they are released. Pirated versions come out first, and then they take them down. But the damage is already done once something is pirated. So legal measures and shutting down sites after the fact is not doing enough, because what the publishers should do is figure out what is causing people to go to pirate sites and find avenues to lead people away from them by offering basically a better product. Because Yoshida believes that there are many problems with how publishers are currently producing and selling manga, and they're not responding to what customers want in terms of pricing and availability, and are still stuck with using sales methods that are out of date. And so Yoshida believes that publishers need to basically get with the times and kind of recognize what the culture of the manga community is right now and create content platforms that are accessible to fans, that will encourage them to use those platforms, to encourage them to use legal platforms and support the industry financially by offering just a better service than pirate sites.
Yeah, I think I very much agree with, I'm very much in line with, I think Yoshida's point of view.
Yeah.
Because hearing about his opinion on manga pirate sites really makes me think back to, how long ago was this? A couple years back when I think the first time, and I hate to name sites, but, the first time, a site like Manga got taken down.
We should bleep that out.
Yeah, we should. When so-and-so got taken down, and a lot of people were upset because, of course, you don't really need people on, like at the time, you really didn't need people online who translated the big three at the time, quote unquote, Bleach and Naruto and One Piece. Like, you didn't really need people to do fan translations of those because those were coming out legally. But, they were the only people at the time, I believe, who were doing stuff like, stuff that Viz picked up in particular, but dropped after a while, like stuff like Reborn and Gintama, where unfortunately they just kind of stopped doing those after a while. And you didn't really have a legal way to read the rest of the series. You some people, kind of had to depend on, stream. But yeah, it just kind of reminds me of situations like that where it's like, I'm all for pirate sites being taken down, but I personally just, as a consumer, would if you're going to take down a site, I hope you can offer me something better, something more consumable, something a little more accessible. Which I think is pretty much my same opinion. I very much agree with Yoshida in that respect.
Yeah, he has quite a few good ideas in terms of what could encourage fans to stick with legal manga avenues, like websites that allow fans to read a variety of manga for a set price could be a solution. Even though there are a lot of sites that exist like that, he thinks that the selection of titles could be, increased, given some more diversity, just a larger catalog on sites like that. And the prices to access digital manga could decrease. That could be a solution. He suggests that removing plastic covers on manga in bookstores could bring people back into going to physical bookstores, and flipping through books might encourage them to actually purchase a book. He thinks that publishers could even be more selective about what they choose to publish and reduce the amount of publications so the market isn't saturated. So he has a lot of different ideas. A lot of these ideas are things that have been suggested in the ongoing conversation about piracy in the manga and anime community over here in the West. I've heard a lot of these arguments over here just recently. So it seems like a lot of people have pretty similar ideas of what could be done to improve the situation of piracy so that, people don't pirate and stick with legal avenues.
I mean, I'm at the risk of sounding a little negative. I'm also of the opinion that piracy is never going to be completely stopped. It's always going to be around, unfortunately, but that doesn't mean I'm not all for ways to, I guess, decrease piracy however much we can.
Yeah, it can be mitigated for sure. I definitely think that, if you offer a better product than the pirates, people will gravitate towards that, even if they have to pay.
Really makes me wish that, like, say for example, if we could at least stop, magazines like Jump being leaked, days early before its actual release, I think that would help a lot. Because then, you could stop people from being like, oh, well, this is Shonen Jump isn't same day and date because it comes out on Thursday, so actually it's late when they don't know any better.
Oh, well, yeah. That needs to be curbed. Those magazine leaks need to be curbed. In recent years, it's been a little better in the sense that they've been able to get them later and later, so those scans sometimes don't come out before the official release, which is nice, but, it still happens pretty frequently, so I really hope they can curb that problem soon.